In this video, I'm going to be taking a hard right into the galaxy far, far away. Here are the top 10 Force users in the Star Wars universe. This list is based on facts, so let's go. At number 10, Darth Maul. Not much is known about the mysterious Darth Maul, who was assumed to have been killed in Episode 1 by being cut in half by Obi-Wan. But what is known was that he was the first Sith apprentice of Emperor Palpatine, and he carried out a red double-bladed lightsaber. He was a strong swordsman, able to kill Jedi Knight Qui-Gon Jinn with little effort. Unfortunately, he was beaten by Qui-Gon's Padawan and fell into a pit on Naboo. Found as an infant and raised by Palpatine to be a Sith Lord, Maul knew Darth Plagueis and even learnt a bit from him. Maul is underestimated in terms of power, but it is true that he is far from the most powerful. Legend at lightsaber battles, beat Obi-Wan Kenobi in various fights in the Clone Wars. He was also strong in the Force. This is shown because he survived being cut in half by Obi-Wan. Number 9. Abeloth. She was a dozen times stronger than Luke and drank from the font of power and bathed in the pool of knowledge, meaning she knew everything fluently about the light and dark side of the Force. If she chose to be the dark side, she would be the most powerful than the most powerful Sith Lord of all time. And if she chose to be the light side, she would be more powerful than the greatest Jedi of all time. It took everything the son and daughter had, who were the embodiment of the light and dark side of the Force, just to trap her, and she would still break out every 1,000 years. It took Luke and the Sith combined together to defeat her, and she's still not dead. The only way to kill her for good is with the Dagger of Mortis, and it would be a brutal battle where many Jedi and Sith would die trying to get her. Abeloth's strength in the Force was a dozen times that of Luke Skywalker, who was widely recognized as the most powerful Force user in the galaxy. However, Skywalker was able to defeat her despite this. Described as a literal Force volcano, and acknowledged to be at least a dozen times as powerful as Luke. When the other ones died during the Clone Wars, she stayed alive as the most powerful being ever. It took Luke and Darth Krayt fighting together to defeat her, and both sustained serious injuries. She literally has all the power of the dark and light sides. It took Luke and Darth Krayt working together to barely defeat her. Number 8. Obi-Wan Kenobi. As wise as Master Yoda and as powerful as Master Windu, Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi was a negotiator. Always carrying peaceful intentions, he fought and defeated Anakin Skywalker in a way that showed courage and extremely skilled use of his abilities, managing to defend his old Padawan away, not wanting to kill him until he attempted to negotiate one last time, and when he did, he brought him down with ease. Obi-Wan was instrumental in making Luke Skywalker the Jedi he was, forever guiding him through the Force. Great tactician, one of the greatest teachers, one of the wisest masters, and most powerful Jedi of all time. Obi-Wan deserves a top 10 placement without a shadow of a doubt. Number 7. Mace Windu. Where do we begin? He is one powerful Jedi even though he has a lower midi-chlorian count than most Jedi. He was able to duel against Emperor Palpatine for a long time and might have actually managed to kill Palpatine had Anakin not interfered. He also disposed over Jango Fett, the mighty bounty hunter, during the Battle of Geonosis while keeping his head intact. All in all, he goes to show that he truly deserves his place on the Jedi Council, and it was a huge disappointment to find out that he didn't survive the Great Purge. He can literally beat any Sith. He uses a technique that amplifies his own power, and if anyone else tries to use it, they go insane and have to be put down like wild animals. He masters both the light and dark side of the Force. He can easily control the flow of battle. Number 6. Revan. Revan started out as a Jedi Knight with enormous potential and lead the Old Republic forces against the Mandalorians and Sith only to prevail. He fell to the dark side and became the Dark Lord of the Sith, now mastering both aspects of the Force. Eventually, he had his memory wiped, retrained as a Jedi and Jedi Knight, mastered the Force, defeated his former apprentice, Dark Lord of the Sith, Malak, who destroyed his former empire and brought peace to the Republic. Revan stands as the greatest Jedi who lived. And realistically, he should be number one. The only Jedi to destroy the Mandalorians and fought Mandalore the Ultimate, and hid his helmet so they could never have a unified leader. He never needed battle meditation when he kept beating the Mandalorians back fight after fight. On top of that, his hunger for knowledge led him to always learn as much as he could. Also found the Star Forge and managed to become a Jedi and remain on the light side even after having used the Star Forge, which amplifies the dark side in someone when used. Number 5. Starkiller. Starkiller has torn through large amounts of stormtroopers, both the clone and the original, and then after fighting hundreds of troops, taken on Darth Vader and defeated him both times. Starkiller is featured in the game Force Unleashed. In the original game, he only died because he was forced to create the explosion in the Death Star when the Emperor's Royal Guards and some stormtroopers came in. It was a sacrifice, not a defeat in the way we know it. Not only that, but while known Jedi Masters like Mace Windu would have been forced to use their lightsabers to catch and or deflect Force lightning, Starkiller was literally catching it in the palms of his hands. He was trained to kill every Jedi and eventually the Emperor himself. He is mastered in both the light and dark side. His way with the Force is like no other, be it the Chosen One or the one with the Force. He was controller of the Force in his own way. He killed many Jedi and he would have defeated Emperor Palpatine if he didn't sacrifice himself for the sake of the Rebel Alliance. He was cloned and there was a rogue who was even more powerful and had all the memories of the original Starkiller. Number 4. Yoda. Now everyone knows that Yoda is one of the best Jedi, as he was able to best Count Dooku in a lightsaber duel, and also has hundreds of years of experience under his belt. He was one of the Jedi who was never even tempted by the dark side, and has always remained true to the light. He truly showed us that size does not matter, as he trained many prosperous Jedi, fought many brave battles, and managed to survive to tell the tale. It was even stated by George Lucas himself that Yoda was the most powerful light side Force user to have ever lived, and he was on par with Sidious, but as an opposite. He lived and trained Jedi for 900 years and was the Grand Master of the Jedi for most of his extremely long life. He should be before Luke because his Jedi Order lasted for like 20 generations when Luke's only lasted for 20 years or something. Number 3. Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker, eventually becoming Darth Vader, is the most badass villain ever, with his cool space helmet and Force choke. But that doesn't define him. If you talk about his physical features only, you do not get Darth Vader. Anakin was super skilled with the Force and had it controlled and ordered himself. He had so much control that he was able to force himself back onto the light side. He was the Chosen One, father of Leia Organa and Luke Skywalker, grandfather of Kylo Ren, and a powerful Sith Lord. Vader was a powerful figure with the Force, losing to Luke because he didn't want to win. Even wounded, he still killed Palpatine to save his son. If he remained a Jedi, he could have gone far, just as far or maybe further than Luke. He had an insatiable lust for power, and Palpatine fed that. Fed it wholly to turn Anakin into Vader, a supremely gifted user of the Force and servant to Sidious. But there was still good in him. He joined the dark side to have his wife from dying in childbirth. Darth Vader was a loving father in the end. He was Anakin Skywalker then. Vader had supreme skill with the Force and had little speed but brute strength with the Force. Even so, he was one with the Force, wielding that lightsaber. And there's so much more to be said. Although he never reached his potential due to missing like 50% of his flesh and bone, he is by far the strongest Force user from either dark or light sides. At a young age, he was stronger than almost all the Jedi Masters. He defeated Count Dooku and would have made short work of Obi-Wan if he had stayed cool and used his brain, as Obi-Wan's style of fighting was perfectly suited to defeating Anakin. He, constantly on the verge of death with his life support, was able to use the Force like no other before or even after him. I dread to think how the universe would have dealt with Darth Vader that was not constantly on death's door. Number 2. Darth Sidious. He was definitely the most powerful Force sensitive in the Star Wars universe. Not to mention the most gifted lightsaber duelist in the galaxy. He mastered all 7 forms of lightsaber dueling. He knew all dark side and light side abilities, including Force Storm, which allowed him to bend time and space to create wormholes that allowed him to teleport and destroy entire planets. All in all, Sidious was the most powerful Force user in Star Wars. So then why isn't he number 1? Well, just stay tuned until the end. Okay, we are on the brink of number 1, but before we get there, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, or at the very least check out my new website, synergystudios.net. Check me out and see what's going on. Okay, at number 1, you guessed it, Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is the only Force user to have learned all Force powers. He also learned all 7 lightsaber forms, and he even had the ability to create and control black holes. The people of the galaxy and even beyond saw Luke as God. That's how powerful he is. He could use battle meditation and decide the fate of battles. It was said that Snoke, Palpatine, and other powerful Force users feared Luke. He defeated Abeloth, a being that is a dozen times stronger and more powerful than himself. Luke could absolutely obliterate anything in his way. He didn't only use the light side either. He saw the potential for good in the dark side. Luke Skywalker was the hero in the original trilogy, who blew up the Death Star with just 1 proton torpedo in Episode 4. He was a magnificent swordsman, and he was able to hold his own against Darth Vader in Episode 5 with little training. He was also able to delay Galen Merritt from reaching the Millennium Falcon during the Battle of Hoth in an alternate universe of The Force Unleashed. Unfortunately, with both of these battles, Luke ended up losing his hand. In the later battle, he even got corrupted by Galen Merrick to turn to the dark side, becoming Merrick's apprentice. Okay, that was the top 10 Force users in the Star Wars universe. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Would you have included others on this list, like Darth Plagueis, or perhaps Kreia from the Old Republic? Let me know in the comments down below in the top 10 you would like to see. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and visit my work at synergystudios.net. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and so long.